Hey guys, Crochet and Connect here. I'm coming to you today with some one finished item, an item in progress, and a bunch of acquisitions. So I'm going to try not to ramble too much and keep this short. So the finished item, I guess I'll start with here, is the blanket I made for my cat. I don't think I showed this in the last video. I think I started it after the last video. Apologies if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am wrong. So this is the blanket. It's a pretty good size for a cat. I started with this color was a little bit of leftover yarn I had from when I made my best friend a baby blanket when she was pregnant a couple of years ago. That baby is about to be 2 years old at the beginning of December. I can't believe it. So I made him this baby blanket with this yarn. And so I started with that, and then I added on this skein. These are both Bernat baby blanket yarns, and I found this skein at a thrift store. I can't remember the colorways for either of these anymore. I don't think I have the labels anymore. But yeah, so I found that at a thrift store, and I added that on. And then I also found this color here at a thrift store, and I was going to add it on and make like a bigger blanket, but then I thought, this size is good enough for the cat. I'll save that for something else. But I needed to use a little bit of it because I ran out of this yarn like 5 stitches short. So I needed to add a little bit, or no, 6 stitches short. 6. So I had to add a little bit of that on, so it looks kind of funny, but it doesn't matter because it's for the cat. I was also lazy and didn't weave the ends in. It doesn't matter because it's for the cat. So that is the cat blanket, and she loves it. She uses it a lot. So I'm glad I got that done quickly. So there's that. And then I started a hat for my daughter. I mentioned previously she saw a red beanie, or as we say here in Canada, a toque, on the TV show Mr. Dress Up, which is kind of the Canadian equivalent of like Mr. Rogers. It's a different kind of show, but he's the same to Canadian children as Mr. Rogers is to American children. Well, Mr. Rogers is to Canadian children as well. We had him here as well. But anyways, so there was a scene. We have some old Mr. Dress Up episodes on DVD. He was around in like the 80s and 90s. I think even maybe 70s. And like he was around for decades. And he passed in the early 2000s, I believe. Or they stopped making his show in the early 2000s, and he passed like just a few years after that. But anyways, there was a scene where he was tricking the puppet Casey with various hats, and one of them was a red toque, and my daughter wanted a red toque like Mr. Dress Up, so I found a pattern for a basic toque, and it's just alternating rows of single crochet in the front stitch, and then single crochet in the back, or front loop, and then single crochet in the back loop, and then single crochet in the front loop, also on alternating rows, so it makes this ribbing. And then you just make it long enough to fit around the head, and then you seam it up the side, and then sew the top shut. So I haven't done very much. I started this well over a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, and then we got a dog, and I've been tired and haven't had much time to crochet because I am chasing after kids and a dog now. So anyways, I will put a link to the video where I introduced my dog down below. I posted one up not too long ago. So anyways, so that is all I have done on the hat, so I'm hoping to get that done soon. And then, because the cold weather is here already, and I also found a pattern for like a ski mask kind of hat for children. And my daughter's always complaining that her face is cold when she goes outside of school, so I'm going to make her one of those too. And then I also found a pattern for a child-size Pokeball hat, and my daughter's into Pokemon now, so I want to make that too. There are so many things I want to make, and I have no time. But yeah, so there's that. And now a few acquisitions. So last month, my public library had their annual library book sale, which they actually haven't had for the last couple of years because obvious reasons. So it finally came back this year. And while there, I found this fashion crochet magazine. And if you notice, the price tag here is in euros. So I was like, oh, this must be a European magazine. And I really like this sweater. And this top here is very interesting as well. There's a couple of interesting tops in here, so I had to have it. And when I was flipping through, I noticed the patterns are written in both English and Spanish. And this magazine is printed in Spain. So that's interesting. And the library book sale sells all magazines for 25 cents. So this was only 25 cents. So I was like, yes, for that price, it is coming with me. I was not going to leave that behind. And then also at the library book sale, I found this Totally Simple Crochet. And all hardcover books were $3. So I got this for $3. There's a lot of cute like shawls and stuff in here, so I just had to have it. I really want to make myself a shawl at some point. There's another cute shawl. I love it. And then I also like this shawl on the back there. These scarves are actually pretty cute too. Yeah, and then there's these hats. I might make one of those for my younger daughters. There's a lot of cute things in here, so I got that. And then at a thrift store a few weeks ago, I don't think I showed this in my last video. I may have, but I don't think I did. I found this Defining Crochet magazine. It is the summer 2019 issue, and it was only $1.29 at Goodwill. And I thought that top on the cover looked really cute, so I was like, yes, I will take you. There's a few cute tops in here. Here is a shot of what's in this magazine, and I actually really like, where did it go? Oh, this one here. I really like this one. That's nice. Yeah, and then there's also cute shawls and scarves in here too, so you can never have too many patterns for those. And then I got the December issue of Crochet World. And this one is actually a lot more festive than last year's, so I am very pleased with this one. And this is the last issue of my subscription, but I did decide to renew after I got this one. So I will be getting more issues to show next year. Unfortunately, there was some kind of mix-up with my subscription renewal, and they sent me another issue, another December issue. And somehow this second issue is under my husband's name. I have no idea what happened there. So I guess the rest of them are going to come under my husband's name. I don't know. So that'll be interesting to see when the next one comes. So I have no idea what happened there. But yeah, so my subscription is renewed. So yay. And then I have some yarn acquisitions. This is getting really long. I should probably hurry it up. So I bought this skein of beige yarn from my local Value Village thrift store. It was $1.99, and I bought it for, I mentioned a few videos back that I have this old magazine from the 90s that had an Afghan with a picture of a collie on it that I want to make, and one of the colors needed is beige. It just lists colors, it doesn't list any brand or anything, so I'm having a hard time finding all the colors, especially they want light gold and dark gold. I don't know how I'm gonna find that, but we will see. Oh, and rust. I don't know a lot of brands that make rust, but we will see. I'm still scouring stores and thrift stores. So yeah, so I got this beige because one of the colors needed was beige and I didn't have any. And this Love Knit, this whole label looks really vintage, and I've never heard of Love Knit. But it did have a Kmart sticker on it, which fell off because it wasn't sticky anymore. And we have not had Kmart here since like the 90s. It like closed and went out of business in the 90s. So yeah, this is probably really old. I wouldn't be surprised if this came from Kmart like long before the 90s. So I thought that was interesting. So beige yarn. And just before Halloween, my husband and I went to Michael's on the other side of town to look at Halloween stuff there. And obviously I had to look at the yarn. And on the clearance rack, I found this Schitt's Creek line of yarn. by Lion Brand. And this was the only skein on clearance. And the regular price is $14.99, and this was on clearance for, I can't remember how much it was now. I don't have the receipt anymore, but I'm pretty sure it was under $5. And I had to have it because Schitt's Creek, best show. It's a Canadian show. And that just wrapped up last year, actually. And it was so good. And I just had to have I know it's regular acrylic yarn, but just the label made me want it. So I had to have it. And this was the only one they had in the whole store. And a week later, I went to the Michaels on this side of town, closer to me, and they didn't have any. And I looked it up online, and they actually have a lot of colorways, but it looks like they're being clearanced everywhere. I don't know if they're being discontinued now. I don't know, but I want them all. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I just want them all. Yeah, so there's that. And this color is Cafe Tropical. So there's that. And then I went to my local Lens Mill store. Lens Mill is a chain of craft stores in southern Ontario. They're mostly known for fabrics and sewing supplies. Most of the store is fabric, but then they also have other craft stuff and other household stuff. And they have a big yarn section. And I found more clearance yarn that I needed because I want to make, from this book, Twinkie Chan's Crochet Abode a la Mode. I've been for a long time now, I've been wanting to make these ice cream cone shower mitts for my girls. But I've been having a hard time finding the right yarn because this uses a cotton scrubby yarn that is now discontinued. And the only scrubby yarns I've been able to find up until now were like the really rough like polyester ones that are more for like doing dishes and household scrubbing. But I finally found some scrubby cotton, and it was on clearance. I can't remember, again, I don't have the receipt, and I can't remember how much I paid. But it was less than this $5.75 for sure. I think it was like $3 something each. So these are Red Heart Scrubby Cotton. And I'm going to use these two for one ice cream cone and these two for another ice cream cone. So this one is called Calm Print. This one is Lavender. This one is Nautical Print. And this one is Coral. And then, also while I was at the Michaels, and I picked up that green yarn, I also picked up this Burnett Handicrafter in red for the cherries on top of the ice cream. And now I am just looking for an appropriate color of cotton yarn for the cones. I still haven't found that yet, but as soon as I find that, I will get started on those shower mitts for my girls. Super fun. And then the last thing I think, oh wait, no, I want to talk about these. My husband has a coworker who is a troop leader for the Girl Guides, which here in Canada is the equivalent of the Girl Scouts in the US. I don't know why we call it Girl Guides, because we also have Boy Scouts. I don't know. But a coworker of his is a troop leader, and she crocheted these for her troop, and she had a few extra and gave them to us. These are poppies. November 11th here in Canada is Remembrance Day. I believe it's Veterans Day in the US. And we wear poppies to commemorate it. And our local legions sell these like little plastic poppies with these straight pins that are terrible and always fall out. But the legions sell them and raise money for the veterans and whatever. And she crocheted, my husband's coworker is a crocheter, and she crocheted a bunch for her Girl Guide troop. And she gave us a few, so I thought these were pretty cute, and I thought I would share them. So there's that. And the last thing I wanted to show, I believe the last thing, I think I showed everything else. We went to visit the parents of my friend who I mentioned passed, and they had more stuff that they wanted to give us. And in a bag of stuff, I found a couple of knitting projects. I know she mentioned that her grandmother was teaching her to knit. Her grandmother passed, I think, like 6 years ago now. But at one point, her grandmother was teaching her to knit, and she told me she couldn't get the hang of it, and she didn't have, like, the right skills for it, and she just... But I found these in the bag that her parents gave us. It looked like she was starting to make a scarf. And that's actually pretty good. I don't know what she was talking about. She couldn't get the hang of it because that's pretty good. And this green and gold makes sense because that is the team colors for her favorite hockey team, her favorite local junior hockey team. So this is all it came with. It was just this and this little ball of gold. So there's no green, so I don't know if I can finish this. If I can find a green and more gold that match properly, then I really want to try to finish it because that's really nice. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to find the matching colors now. So there's that. And then there was also this little bit of knitting. I have no idea what she was intending this to be. It's just a long strip. I don't know if she's making a skinny scarf. I don't know. But yeah, so there's that. So I don't know if I'm going to just keep going with this or just rip it out and use the yarn for something else, but there's that. And so I guess I get some free knitting needles as well. So yeah, so there's that. So I think that's all I wanted to talk about today. I'm not sure if I missed anything. I did have a list which I wrote on my phone, and then my phone had the Samsung black screen of death. There was a hardware problem with the screen, and the screen needed replacing, but it cost almost as much to replace it as to just buy a new phone. So I bought a new phone, but I wasn't able to get my notes off the phone. I was able to get everything else off because everything was either saved to my SD card or to the Samsung cloud, but for some reason all my notes were not saved to the cloud. So I lost all my notes. So there is that. But I think I mentioned everything I wanted to mention. And I did mention that I'm going to make some hats and things, so I should have another video coming up soon, hopefully, if I make the time to finish crocheting these hats. And also, I want to crochet a toy for my dog. A long while back, I found a pattern for a kind of like a crocheted frisbee for a dog. So I want to make that for my dog to like chew on and stuff. And then I also wanted to get some more Bernat blanket yarn and make a large basket to hold dog toys. So there's that. I found a pattern for that online already, but I just need to find some more Bernat blanket yarn at the thrift stores. So yes, lots of projects I want to do, very little time. I still have to do my younger daughter's mermaid blanket as well. So many projects, so little time. So I'm going to try very hard to make more time for my crochet and have another video up soon. I know I say that every time, but I'm going to try. And so yeah, so I think that's it. So I hope everybody's been having a good almost winter, and happy crafting.